Check one, check, 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 check. Check two, check, 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 check. Check three. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Thursday. Sometimes you just don't know what is going on. Sometimes check 1, 2. Make sure we get the audio straight, man. Get everything straight, man. Cause it's this right here for y'all.
You know what it be, man. It's your boy CI. Yeah. Man, I'm locked and loaded. Man, I ain't even worried about y'all, man. You know who I am. Man, it's critical for y'all. Man, y'all looking pitiful. Tell them, big dog, what we gonna do?
I am the one who knocks.
I'ma hit him with the 10. Like an NBA ref. Fire up like a chef. Rappers watch your step. Henry Cable with the steel. Aiming at my target. Rappers in my sights. They know that I'm the hardest. Family members are fake. They're praying for my demise. When I started rapping, see the hate in their eyes. The suckers knew I was that dude. I'm ripped like a rube. Better watch yourself before I take you to school. Ain't nobody out there stopping me. Ain't nobody out there harder than me. People out there wanna stop me. No, you better pop me. Hit him up with the K. I'ma take him up. Hit him like a jump shot. Cause you know that I'ma get hot. Hit him up like Pac. Rest in peace to my niggas. Hit him up with the AK. Man, I blast them niggas. I ain't talking about that. I ain't holding nothing back. I'm the king of this rap. You know it be like that. Man, I kept telling y'all, you know that it's critical for you rappers, man. I ain't afraid of none of y'all, you heard me?
I am the one who knocks.
That's what we gonna do. Yeah. I'ma hit up with the track. Bass gonna be bumping. Watch out for CI. Man, you know that I'm coming. Different strokes like I'm drumming. Beat 'em up like a drummer. Playing up like a flute. Better watch what you do. Make 'em slip like oil. Then I'm hot like fire. I'm the king of this rap shit. Yeah, you know I'm Messiah. Get the bag like money. I don't give a damn. Wrap 'em up like a money. Hit 'em up with the sand. Put 'em down on the block. No one ever gonna stop. Told my dad I'ma hustle till I get to the top. I ain't worried about your niggas. I ain't worried about your marks. I'ma eat 'em up. Just like a shark. Man, you know that I'm not weak. Crystal City where I'm bound. Rolling with diverse. Yeah, you know we got the sound. Strike 'em out like a mound. Cause you know I'm a pitcher. Better watch yourself. You know I'm going to get you. Yeah, you know what it is, man. It's your boy CI. Critical for y'all. Let go.
It's critical, boy. I think this song here might be appropriate. And then I think we're going to get into this show.
Can you look at your reflection? Wanna judge a book by its cover? Set its code when this world don't love you. Can you look at my reflection? Gotta learn to cherish every blessing. The streets gave a nigga life lessons. Can you look at your reflection? Can you stand on your own? Survive through the moment all alone. Can you look at my reflection?
What up, my nigga?
Now a nigga flexing.
I feel it's
Waiting for the enemies who testing. Can you look at your reflection?
Reflection on my mind, I thank God that I made it here. Perception and correction from Christ, I had to persevere. Tired of looking over my shoulder for all my worst fears. Feeling like the demons been chasing, I got a purpose here. A vision with a blemish is in it, I can't pretend it. But knowing that I'm morally wrong, I'm so relentless. The soul soaked down to the bones, I guess it's in me. Reflection on this world of my past, my cup is empty. The glare at the top of the pool, yo, that's reflection. Wavy image from all of the pain and neglection. Violent scars all on my face, that's recollection. And they ain't never been through this change, I'm resurrected. Blood on my palm in my hands, I guess I manned up. And they will never try me again, I'm choosing handcuffs. Just a meager image of me, it's time to stand up. A black man in this white man's world, and they
Can you
can't
look
stand
at your
us.
reflection? Wanna judge a book by its cover? Set its code when this world don't love you. Can you look at my reflection? Gotta learn to cherish every blessing. The streets gave a nigga life lessons. Can you look at your reflection? Can you stand on your own? Survive through the moment all alone. Can you look at my reflection? Now a nigga flexing, waiting for the enemies who testing. Can you look at your
Reflection
reflection?
is a capsule of life, just gotta make it clear. No blemish on the image of winning, we gotta persevere. Pretending that we get it is gimmick, I see the struggle real. Gotta turn my back on these snakes, it seems like nothing's real. Submerged in the pain and it's crazy, but they don't understand. Looking damn straight in his eyes, cause I got other plans. My neighborhood made me a soldier, but granny seen a man. Trying to live my life in these streets under the hustling. Looking at my seeds in their face, I see myself in them. Provide for anything that they need, and not just self-image. Daily wipe the sweat off my back, I'm in this hell living. Feeling all the pain in my palms like I got nails in them. They say it's cold when this world don't love you, but you gotta be a man when them streets come for you. Just remember that them seeds gon' love you, so you gotta keep your head, look for y'all.
Can you look at your reflection? Wanna judge a book by its cover? Set its code when this world don't love you. Can you look at my reflection? Gotta learn to cherish every blessing. The streets gave a nigga life lessons. Can you look at your reflection? Can you stand on your own? Survive through the moment all alone. Can you look at my reflection? Now a nigga flexing, waiting for the enemies who testing. Can you look at your reflection?
Mm-hmm. Can you look at your reflection? Mm-hmm. And do you like what you see? Ah, boy. So, how did we get here? Man, how in the heck did we get here? Well, we are about to discuss it. How we got her? Pretty obvious. Playing games is how we got here. But now, obviously, playtime is over. Guess what? Playtime is over and the gloves are off. In case y'all didn't know. Mm-hmm. The gloves are off. Shout out to everybody that may be tuning in. I appreciate it. Now that we on real serious business, it's time to get down to business. Sure is. And what we want to understand in this critical political season, that over the years, as Black people, check, oh shit, check 1 2. As Black people, we have been hoodwinked and bamboozled to death. At every turn, we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled to death. Now, what I'm going to do is, under the fair use doctrine, I'm going to share a bit of last night's horrible interview from what is supposed to be a professional group representing Black journalists. You feel me? National what's it called? The National, I don't know, Black journalists. I don't know who they are. National Association of Black Journalists. I think that's what it is. Now, I want to first of all say, if we are in fact dealing with Black journalists, why is it that there are no men on this panel? You got 3 panel people here. One of them panel people couldn't have been a man. Not one could have been a Black man. So already out the gate, I got a problem with the optics here. I have a serious problem with the optics. With this reflection of Black men don't matter. A Black man's perspective in this narrative here of an interview, and we only gonna have Black journalists represented by just Black females. Already we on the wrong track right there. The optics. The optics, I got a problem right here. Now, I'm going to give y'all a little bit of this, and it gets so juicy out the gate that I'm just, man, please. I'm just going to let it play for a second here, and periodically I'm going to interrupt and try to make sense of this. I need y'all to tap in. Don't play. You know, like you don't know what's going on. Don't act like you didn't get the memo. You know, I hadn't considered at all voting for Trump. At all. But y'all make it hard. Y'all are making this very complicated. Indeed. So let's play. Let's, the moment of truth. Shout out to the Black Authority. Let's go.
During election years of inviting journalists to discuss the policies and their impact with the candidates who are running for president and the impact of those policies, especially in Black communities. Former Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton have attended the Nabj conventions either as presidents or as presidential candidates in past years. Nabj is currently in conversation with Vice President Kamala Harris's team to schedule a Q&A either in person or virtually in September. As journalists, we use opportunities like these both to inform our reporting, but also to help voters understand the choices that they face in a consequential and historic election year. Nabj has partnered with PolitiFact to fact-check this conversation in real time. You can access that feed on social media using the hashtag NABJFactCheck. Again, the hashtag is NABJFactCheck. We have a lot to get to, and we do not want to waste any time, so let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump.
Okay. Now you saw how it started out. Her tone, somewhat okay. Let's go.
Thank you. How are you? Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like—
Hold on. Can I back up for just a second? As a journalist, which was the not true statement, it's definitely questionable. But let's go.
Animal and rabid to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for Black workers and Black entrepreneurs. I've done so much. And, you know, and I say this.
Hold on. Enterprise zones. Now, I don't know whether or not they're fact checkers. Check that. but enterprise zones that T.I., Killer Mike, and others have been involved in have helped a very tiny number of ADOS black people. But what it did do is usher in gentrification. It allowed others, people of color, others to come in and buy those areas because black people didn't have the capital to take advantage of enterprise zones. But she's not gonna know anything about that. We're gonna move on.
Historically, black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke. And I saved them and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters
question.
should trust you with another 4
I have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up.
Hold on. Now, what do y'all think? Is this a hostile environment? Is her tone toward the former president warranted? Is this that sister girl masculinity, this aggressiveness? Is that what this is? Now, is this appropriate in this kind of environment? I ask, is it? Is the former president being respected in this situation? Oh, but let's move on. Oh, it gets better.
And then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who was the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI.
Wait a minute. Did she just say the first Black and Asian? Now, think about it. This is the first time she has been addressed as a Black and Asian woman. She's always been just Black. She's always been just Black. She ran on Black Girl Magic. Sister Girl. She didn't run on I'm Black and Asian. Plus, fact check, time, Jamaican and Asian is not Black and Asian. Her heritage, at best, she would be Jamaican. Her father. At least she's Asian. The bottom line. Oops, not like us. Sorry.
Higher. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
Give me a
literally
definition
the words.
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that? Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
Hold on. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Boy, I tell you, people can come up with the darnest terms to weed other people in, and ADOS, American descendants of slavery, us, out of the equation. People of color. Who are people of color? Now, these people have identities. They come from places. They have actual ethnicities. A lot of funny business going on.
Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you
I
believe
think,
that
I think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really don't
have
know.
said?
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length. And we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very good ratings on that.
Well, you
interview.
told me it was the longest one of your life, so we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is.
Now, did you see that? You see that Trump gangster move? He had already had a prior interview with the other lady, was a lady. And Trump went right away and complimented her, threw the blue off, and it just ended that hostility right there. I asked you a direct question. That's not the way you do interviews. That's not professional. So Trump sidestepped that like a real gangster. And went bam over there. Oh yeah, I had a great interview with her. Now she cool, right? Okay, so let's come on, man. This was nuts.
Is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we are divided along the lines of race, along the lines of gender. And there is this question of, in this moment where we are, why come here? What is your message today?
My message is to stop people from invading our country that are taking, frankly, a lot of problems with it. But one of the big problems, and a lot of the journalists in this room I know and I have great respect for, a lot of the journalists in this room are black. I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what.
Hold on. Now, a lot of bougie, intellectual Negroes have vaulted at this question. What is a black job? In general, a black job is a $55,000 and under job. Median income for a black man in America is $55,000. The median income for a black woman in America is $37,000. The upper echelon jobs, the 70, 80, 90, median income for a white woman in America is $55,000. The median income for a white man in America is about $65,000. You tell me where the black jobs are, what black jobs are. Yes, there are specifically black jobs, and there are specific jobs that black people don't and can't get, don't have access to the top. I posted a chart a while back about the income levels of black people, the amount of black people at those various income levels. The fact that fact checkers, that black people obviously don't do facts or do numbers. The numbers say, yes, there are specific black jobs, mostly in government, post office, social services. See, when you don't understand the facts, when somebody brings the facts to you, oh, yes, you're going to reject them. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know. And it is obvious there are a lot of things that black folks don't know. One in particular, who you are. This election is going to bring that home. Well, let's do a little more of this. Fair use, thank you, YouTube.
It is anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr. President,
they're
can I-
taking the employment away from black people. They're coming in.
Now, let's think about this. Prior to 1970, when black people could actually go and get a job. You feel me? Why? Because it wasn't anybody here but black people from slavery and white people, handful of Mexicans, 2 Jamaicans and 1 African. Because we didn't have the immigration policy in place for Africans, for Caribbeans. Understand me? They weren't here. So anybody that came here after the 70s, the 80s, 90s, you took a job that the black people that were already here were supposed to get. See, we already here. We supposed to get all the jobs first. And then when you immigrants get here, you get what's left. So if black people that been here for 400 years with the white folks is homeless and don't have jobs, got high unemployment, whose job do you think you are taking as an immigrant coming to America? You're taking the jobs that America will give you that they wouldn't give us. Why wouldn't they give them to us before they gave them to you? That's another question we need to have a conversation about. I don't know if y'all want to have that conversation. But we're going to carry on with this mess of an interview.
And they're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that. And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar.
Come on now. Come on now. Black people on the bottom are the most affected by immigration. Do you understand that? There's only so many jobs in the country. The more people that come in dilute the availability. But they seem to be getting jobs. They seem to be getting put up in hotels. They seem to be getting social service benefits. How are they getting benefits and you can't get benefits as a black person? So whose benefits are they getting? Out of the pool that your people have already paid taxes for those benefits to be available in the first place. So how does an immigrant get to get here and get any benefits when there are citizens, white and black, Native American, Hispanic, that can't get benefits? Huh? So who's the majority group on the bottom? Black, ADOS, correct. Okay, so any illegal or legal immigrant that comes to America and gets a job got your job, the job you should have had. And the question again, you need to ask, how they get the job over you? Okay, let's go. This is going to be good.
She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President, I want to get into how you address some of the issues with black communities. And I say that plural because we live in communities of color that are different. We're not all the same. We don't vote the same.
We live in communities of color. Now, the Hispanic community takes care of their Hispanic issues, whether it's dreamers, immigration, or any other social issues. What other people of color are we talking about? Oh, Asians. Asians seem to take care of their issues from a social and political standpoint. I think they pushed through an Asian anti-hate bill because what? Couple Asians got slapped around, punched out. Black people getting punched out all the time. You ain't got no anti-special protect ADOS. No, you didn't do any politics. The Asians did their political work. People of color, no, don't try to lump us in with everybody to dilute who we are. All right, let's oh, it's
Same, we don't think the same.
True.
It's not monolithic. So as you come here today, I want to talk about something that bursts, and this is the weight of the inflation on this country right now. The nonprofit Money Management International recently released data from its mid-year analysis that we have found a 52% rise in people who are seeking counseling for being in credit debt. They're paying for food that is sky high on their credit cards, and now they can't pay that off. The credit counseling nonprofit MMI, as I said, is saying now that they've seen surges that they haven't seen since we were in a pandemic.
oh, okay, hold on. So do y'all think there's a lot of black people with credit cards? Huh? Do you think that there are a bunch of black people with credit issues? Black people ain't got no credit card. Yeah, there's a bunch of credit card debt, but it ain't because black people got credit cards. Okay, fact check. Can somebody see exactly how many black people in America got credit? We at the bottom of the socioeconomic pool. How much do you think the people with no money got credit card issues? All right, I'm sorry. Let's go.
Pandemic of people in financial trouble. Much of that falls on the shoulders of single moms, single black moms, when you look statistically. Yeah. How do you turn it around? What's your plan for the black community when it comes to money?
Okay, most of this falls on the deal of single black moms. See, y'all have taken and made single black moms a whole ethnicity. You ain't got to be single. You choose to be single. From an economic standpoint, you better check the numbers. Single black women represent the poorest segment of the American society. You're at the bottom of the economic ladder by choice. By choice. Now, and you want this man that's a conservative, very family oriented, to try to deal with dysfunction, try to fix dysfunction. How do you fix dysfunction? Don't be dysfunctional. All right. Oh boy. See how Trump handles this.
First of all, it's very hard to hear you for whatever reason because of the fact that they have bad equipment, because I guess, this woman was unable to get the right equipment. But it's very hard for me to hear you, but I can hear every other word. It's very difficult, actually. But so I don't know if they can fix it or do something with it, but I'll do the best I can with it. The inflation is absolutely destroying our middle class, our working class, virtually every class. Inflation is a disaster in our country. Inflation is a country buster. It breaks every country. And we had in my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's
All right. Inflation. Do you understand why we are here with high inflation? Let's do some fact check time with Radical Mike. We don't have to go to any organization. We have reality to do the fact checking for us. Now, pre-pandemic, Obama, second term, economy is blazing along. Doing big numbers. Trump gets in, inherits a good economy. And then, dun, 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 pandemic. Pandemic hits. And what happened? Mismanagement of the pandemic. All right, I'm over here in America. I look over there in Asia and Europe, and the pandemic is spreading like an evil fog across the continent. Now, as a sane, rational thinking person, you would have to say, oh shit, or snaps. It's going to end up here. Check this. What we're going to do is, I want everybody to stock up. We're going to shut down. Except for the bare essentials. I need everybody to shut it down. Walk it back. Stay inside. Got the scarlet X on the door. Evil coming. Stay inside. We're going to ride this one out. But we see how it's affecting them over there. Right? All right, cool. Because it's like military. We got to like, okay, shit. This is war with this bio war right here. Germ war. All right, boom. So we got to duck cover, let it pass. You know what I'm saying? Bam. Then it would have slid. Then we would have back up. Boom, 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 boom. We making shit happen. The other countries that we rely on for supplies, they stuck. Can't produce. They the wave of death done wipe through, right? So what did we do? We did just the opposite. But there's no such thing as a pandemic. Why don't you drink some bleach? The Hong Kong flu. We made fun of it, mocked it, and it consumed a lot of innocent Americans that didn't have to die. That could have been saved by good judgment and good management. So what happened? The factories that were trying to maintain under these conditions, the employees got sick. Who were most of the employees? Immigrants. So now the factory is shut down, don't have workers. You done killed them all. They scared to go back to work because they know corporations don't care about their health and their welfare. They just worry about the bottom line. So the employees caught on during COVID that the system didn't care, that corporate didn't care about them. They were just food for the processor. So they ain't want to go back. People want to work from home. Don't trust the system anymore. Now, the corporations get run out of stock, can't get stock, paying money for overhead. Trump give them a money bailout to businesses, PPP, blah, 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 blah plan. Bail out business that acted on his bad information. They got bailed out, just like Obama in 08. Instead of taking care of the homeowners that was holding the mortgages, they let them lose everything and bailed out the banks. Obama's one of them. Now the factories get trickling in of supplies, and in order to recoup their losses, that remember they got paid for their losses by the government. But they ain't saying nothing about that. They looking like they still got those losses. Oh, that just wrote off a little bit of it. That didn't hit like I could have got a yacht or something. So now I got to get that money back. So I got to raise the prices of the new products that's coming back into the system after the pandemic to up my profit margin so I can recoup my losses from the pandemic. We all had to take a loss in the pandemic. That means you too, corporate America. But corporate America said, not me. I'm not taking a L. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever. George Wallace. Anyway. So they raised prices. Inflation. They inflate the prices. That part of the inflation. Now, as they inflated the prices of the products and materials that's coming back online, so they can rob us blind and get their money straight and reline their pockets with the help of politics, with the help of their boys in office. So what their boys in office do is do what? What the feds do. They said, well, we got inflation. And why do we have inflation? Well, we got inflation because corporations artificially raise the prices of goods and services and force them on the people because the people don't have anything else. Now, the feds, come in with this fictitious plan that if you raise interest rates on money, that people spending money will slow down spending. Now, the reason why people were spending money, because as goods and services are coming back into the system, the people with money are rushing out and buying stuff. They're like, damn, I needed a lot of stuff during the pandemic. Now the pandemic is over. I got to go buy some stuff. So they going and buying stuff. Thing about it is that the people that are going to buy stuff, they're on the middle class and upper class that are buying stuff. Now, what the system says, because we don't have as much supply and we got a lot of demand, in order to slow down the demand of spending, we got to raise interest, because interest slows down spending. No, it don't. If you got money, you don't care. The upper echelon, white America owns 91% of the total wealth of the country. And not only that, because of Obama and Trump and their tax breaks to wealthy, that they are about to pass wealth to their millennials and Generation Xers. They get ready to get money, inheritance, tax-free. Trump and Obama made it where they could get $300,000 plus tax-free as a gift from their parents, from their great-grandparents, wealth being passed down. So they are going to be all right. The rest of us on the bottom, inflation is chewing us up and spitting us out like it ain't nothing. Go to the grocery store. Your eating habits have changed. Go out. Your going out has changed. Hence, major mid-level restaurants going out of business. Not enough middle class and low class going to those restaurants, eating out. Inflation, $15 an hour. You pay them $15 an hour, where you gonna get that from? Oh no, the corporate ain't gonna take a less of a dollar. No, where they gonna get the profit from to pay the employee the $15 an hour? They're gonna take it out of the product. They're gonna raise the price of the product, raise the price of the burger, raise the price of the soft drink, raise the price of the fries, so they can pay this fool $15. Thing about it is, the guy that got a raise from little or no money to $15, well, the people that was already making $15 didn't go up to $20. And the people that was already making $20 didn't go up to $25. And the people that was going $25 didn't go up to $30. How you going to take the person on the bottom and slide him up and give him more buying power and make him closer to me? He didn't get no more education. Okay, I ain't getting no more education. I need an increase too. You giving him a cost of living increase on the bottom. You didn't give everybody else that incremental increase up the ladder. So now the person that was like nobody, that was making $8 an hour, $9 an hour, $10 an hour, now he making 15. Okay, when he was making 10 and I was making 20, oh yeah, I got some money. You ain't got much money, huh? Got to get your game up. Got to work harder. Oh no, turns out he ain't got to work harder. The system going give him some welfare. He earned $15 an hour. Where he at, he's supposed to get $15 an hour. People that got $20 an hour got families. So now inflation, yes, is eating up the mid and the bottom. Because the upper mid and the top, they good. Well, they can cut back a little bit. But where you used to go with gas and the high rent, okay, so let's ride this out here, ladies and gentlemen.
Been devastating. And if you just take a look at a lot of things they don't include, like interest rates. Interest rates went from 2.4% to 10%, and you can't get the money. People can't buy houses. They no longer have the American dream. Young people, young black people, they don't have the American dream anymore. They can't buy a house. They can't borrow the money because of the cost of the money. They can't buy it because of the cost of housing, because of the cost to build it, because of inflation. Inflation is a disaster, and it's destroying our country, and it's destroying the black community probably as much or
So what do
more
you do?
than any.
What's your plan?
You know what we have to do? We have to bring down the cost of energy, and that's going to bring down the cost of inflation. This was all started with a bad energy policy by Joe Biden. By the way, just if I might.
So what you gonna do? So what's your plan? So what you gonna do? So what's the plan? Man, y'all should make that a soundbite. So what you gonna do? What's your plan? This is nuts.
I was running against a man named Biden. You probably saw that. And he was losing very badly in the polls. And then he had a rather bad debate. I would say it was a bad debate. I would say it was one of the worst debates in history. And his poll numbers crashed. And instead of saying, let's keep going and maybe something happens the other way, they said, oh, we're going to replace him. Let's just replace him. That's like you're in a fight. A prize fighter's in a fight. He's not doing well. You say, let's bring in another fighter. So our whole campaign was steered toward him. And now we have to steer it toward him. But ultimately, it's the same because they have bad policy. They have policies of open borders, unbelievable open borders, horrible energy policies. They want to get rid of, as you say, gasoline in cars. They want to get rid of oil. They want to get rid of efficient heating.
Mr. President.
Environmentally, what they're doing is killing our country. They're absolutely destroying our country. But the inflation is the thing that.
You see how Trump point that finger? You see how Trump point that finger? Like, I'm talking. No, don't. I would have liked for it to have been at least one guy on the deal, and then not the chick with the bad mic. He like, hey, look, you got a bad mic. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go.
It's hurting the black worker, the black population, and every other population within our country. Inflation is the worst it's been, I think, in over 100 years. And they'll fact check it. They'll say it's only 58. Whatever it may be, they don't add all the numbers. They don't add the really bad numbers, and you can check that too. But inflation, Harris, is absolutely destroying.
Okay, now before we go any further, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that cash app out there, bro. I'm telling you the truth right now. This is just Oh no, bro. We gotta be better. Come on now. I'm just gonna throw it up here. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna throw it up here. I'm just gonna run it. Y'all know what's up. Y'all need to hit that. For this kind of quality of programming, you got to respect this. What we got? an hour in. y'all need to share this show with all your friends because this is important. What this conversation is going to lead to a much bigger conversation that Kamala, Obama, Pierre, she had a comment today in regards to what Trump said about Kamala not being black. Let me let you all know right now in advance that this conversation just turned the tide of the election. There's always a pivotal moment in an election that something goes horribly sideways. See, how can you trust a person one way or the other that wouldn't be honest about their identity? That goes for Kamala and Obama and the people around them. Because the people around them know they're not black. Pierre, the press secretary, knows she's Haitian. And when she's in Haiti, she's not going to call herself a black person. When Obama's in Kenya, where he got pepper sprayed, tear gassed with his sister over there during the protest, he's not black when he's at home. He's Kenyan. Can we understand that? Stop playing these fantasy island games. They're playing. No. They even brought that show back. Good Lord. Recycle everything. Well, you're not going to recycle another Obama on us named Kamala. We get a black one. That's a man. We get the male version of a not us to call it us and make like we had success. And now we having a woman play us to make like and pretend we had success when obviously we haven't had political or social success, because now people of color are covering us up and sliding in the door, sauce shoeing and sashaying their way into places where we are supposed to be. Now, y'all don't want us there? No problem. Cut the check. We'll chill. We'll go on vacation. Cut the check. We'll let you Republicans and Democrats and conservatives and liberals, we'll let y'all figure it out. We'll just sit back on the sideline and hope y'all don't kill each other. Or maybe we got to be the referee to keep y'all from each other's throat in the name of politics. Y'all got the whole country in an uproar.
This country and the people in our country. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
President, can I ask you another question
Yes,
that is
and-
also impacting Black Americans?
And that's very clear now. Good.
I'm sorry?
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay, so Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
immunity?
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah, well, police unions are not backing this person either.
Okay.
But again,
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect ourselves.
Now, see, from a journalistic standpoint, that should have been phrased as a question and not a statement. Would, in fact, if you were elected and this particular person came up for immunity, would you, in fact, grant him immunity? That would have been a proper way to frame that in order for it to be a question and not a statement. This is just bad all the way. I'm not a trained journalist. I ain't go to journalism school. But this is basic. This is basic conversation. Man, should. That's all I can say. Go Trump.
And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend, they had 117 shootings and 17 deaths. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question? Who would make those
Well, right now, for the most part, people are protected by their unions, by their police unions, or by their police departments. But I'm saying if I felt, or if a group of people would feel that somebody was being unfairly prosecuted because the person did a good job maybe with crime or made a mistake, an innocent mistake. There's a big difference between being a bad person and making an innocent mistake. But if somebody made an innocent mistake, I would want to help that person.
What would those exceptions be? What would determine
you
an
go
innocent
after
mistake?
Somebody and it's a very close call and it's very dangerous. And you know, they have the policeman's life and woman is a very difficult thing because sometimes you have less than a second to make a life and death decision. And sometimes very bad decisions are made. They're not made from an evil standpoint, but they're made from the standpoint of they made a mistake.
So I want to follow up really quickly. I find it interesting because you do talk about reining in prosecutors, especially when it comes to prosecutors that are prosecuting you. Why doesn't that skepticism apply to law enforcement?
Well, I've been prosecuted because I'm a political opponent of two people that have weaponized our justice system. I've been prosecuted. I just won the big case in Florida. Everyone said that was the biggest case. That was the most difficult case. And I just won it. Now, Biden has a similar case, except much worse. I was protected under the Presidential Records Act. Biden wasn't because he wasn't president at the time. And he had 50 years worth of documents. And they ruled that he was incompetent and therefore he shouldn't stand trial. And I said, isn't that something? He's incompetent and he can't stand trial. And yet he can be president. Isn't that nice?
Mr. President,
but they released him on the basis that he was incompetent. They said he had no memory and he was a nice old guy, but he had no memory. And so, therefore, we're not going to prosecute him. I won the case and it got very little publicity. I didn't notice ABC doing any publicity on it, George.
We covered you extensively, sir. I'd love to move over on to different topics.
I didn't notice you do any publicity on it at all. I won the case, the biggest case. This is an attack on a political opponent. I have another one where I have a hostile judge.
We have you for a limited time, sir. I'd love to move on to different topics.
No, excuse you. You're the one that held me up at 35 minutes, just so you understand.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate. He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past. He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children. Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this. He is very family oriented and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he thinks that if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right person.
But he's not just talking about families here.
And
he also
some of
says that
those
people that don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all right.
that do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
Is that your
and I
campaign
think
position?
I'm speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family, there's something wrong with it.
Just one last point and then we'll move on. Just one of the bedrock principles of
Are we clear on the definition of family? Husband and wife constitutes family, so don't call yourself family if you ain't married. Okay, anyway, bye.
Of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now, you have illegal aliens coming into our country, many from prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally, and they're taking the vote away from all of the people in this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happening. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room and people outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs to people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why
did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too. I know everybody out there can, but it's hard to hear.
I'll tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people that were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the law journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business, actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who was also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family, but he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator.
So,
So, Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for
you.
their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that,
I cannot understand your microphone.
I know
so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me
I mean,
to
it's
understand
just
you
I can understand you perfectly.
because she's
Whoa.
closer.
I can understand
You know, this was really a good interview for Trump, because Trump is ricocheting back and forth off these fools. And Trump know how to bam, one line them too. Oh, I can hear you perfectly. I ain't having no problem. Oh my God. If this interview don't go viral. Now, I read an article about this interview from Politico. And if you read this article from Politico, you will not get the interpretation that you're going to get if you see this first. If you see this first, then you read the article Pacifico, and you're like, where were you? Were you actually at this interview? Because the print didn't tell you how hostile this platform, this interview was from beginning to end. This was, as I don't know, for lack of a better term, just as unprofessional as I've ever seen for an interview. This was a disaster. No. And this is where we are with this, where these are like bullying, trying to bully Trump. And if it was, and what I want to look for this, wait for it. Trump backed them in a corner with, are you going to have Kamala on the show? But the thing is, because they've already said in, I think, a preview for this, that they're supposed to be having a conversation with Kamala. I guarantee you're not going to have this level of aggression. Oh, they going to be smiling and sister girl.
Happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
Really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris.
I have a few more questions.
Because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
So,
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
so what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic. Because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, And that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had great respect for him, and for the other candidates too. But I will say this.
Watch how Trump slides on them. Just late, boy. Y'all need to hit the cash out, though. Stop playing. Stop playing. Well, we stop actually podcast panhandling. So hit the cash out. Ching ching. I might need a cup and just be kind of jiggling it in the background, like the blind man on the corner. Ching 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 ching. Okay.
And I think this is well documented. Historically, the vice president, in terms of the election, does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side, who it's going to be. And then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered. Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons of what we're talking about, not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way. And I think JD is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point
is here. But at least it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the death of a baby after the baby is born, based on the governor of Virginia. Based on the governor of Virginia, they're allowing the death of the baby after it's born. They're allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month.
Well, Democrats have denied.
I think they're right. And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservative, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it, everybody.
But the majority of Americans oppose Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They don't know about this. Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also. But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing, out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people.
To give y'all a little context, in the 52 years, you know what that takes you back to? About 72. You know what was going on in 72, 73, 74, 50 years of hip hop? Feminism, no fault divorce, and abortion rights. And so we are some 50 plus years later with this abortion issue. And while we are here, can I say something? Why is it that the father never comes up in this equation? Ever, 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 ever. Not pre, but post. Oh yeah, what you gonna do about this baby there, man? You know this your baby. What you gonna do about this the baby there? You know we gonna have to have them child about that. Oh, it's his baby then. Wasn't his baby before? Because say for instance, when you want to keep the baby, should the guy be able to say, no, hell no. Now you aborting that. Yes, sir. Oh no, you don't get my baby. Mm-mm. But abortion. Because she can say her body, her choice, and say to hell with him and kill the baby. But if she wanna hook him up and he's like, oh hell no, flush it. And she's like, oh no, it's my bad. I'm gonna keep oh you want to keep this one. So why shouldn't the man, the father, have second choice or first choice? She don't want to keep the baby, don't want to be in the baby's life. It ain't her baby. Well, then the father get to okay, right after the abortion. I mean, after the baby is born, I'll take custody, me, my family, blah blah blah, and bye. See you later. See you. All right, cool. You good. Because now you back, you fresh, you're on your own, like you would have been had you had an abortion. You don't have to have any actual ties to something that you was trying to abort. Why would you want that? Now you get a chance to move on with your life. Sounds pretty simple to me. And as far as the baby is concerned, let's take the baby's life in concern. Your choice, your body, no. Your body, his baby. Let's go on.
People to vote on, and they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the three exceptions. Most people believe in the three exceptions. Most Republicans believe in the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor of Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question about, you brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But if you win, you'll still be president at 82, which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally. Big difference.
Listen, here's the question.
He shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people.
Uh-uh. No, not Biden. No, I won't be like 82 Biden years. Oh, man. Trump. After this interview, if you were on the fence about Trump and his conversation, you know, because I used to think, okay, Trump ain't that sharp. No, hey, Trump been hitting them with information about different states. I don't know whether it's true or not, but he been bouncing back and forth and moving around on them and stuff, and they don't have any rebuttal for any of the statements that he's made pertaining to something happening in Michigan or something happening in Kansas. No, Trump eating them up. They wasn't ready.
Well, I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would make,
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, if I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman treated
Oh my
me,
goodness.
and I'm fine with it because she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You
your
can answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
Well, can I
got 'em.
just-
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have people running for president, and I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation. We have the millions of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. What he has done to our country, and her too, what they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Mr.
Don't mean to
President.
interrupt you, but would you consider taking the cognitive test
Mr. President.
I would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public?
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President,
suggested-
how do you intend to?
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Mr. President.
Are you saying she wouldn't pass? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you don't think
I'm
Harris
just
would
How do
giving
you
the
intend,
facts.
and
She didn't
look,
pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it. I
She
guess
did pass it.
There's a
She
man
did-
over
she
here.
did
I
in
think
fact pass
he
it.
must work for
Mr.
her.
President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least 1 officer lost an eye. 1 had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke. Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Well, let me bring it back to modern day. Like about 5 days ago, we had an attack on the Capitol, a horrible attack on the Capitol. You saw the people that were protesting and spraying these incredible monuments, bells, lions, all these magnificent limestone and granite with red paint, red spray paint that will never actually come off, especially in the limestone. It will never, I'm a builder, I know about this stuff. It'll never, you'll see it in 100 years from now. They viciously attacked our government. They fought with police. They fought with them much more openly than I saw on January 6th. What's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen to the people in Portland that destroyed
But sir, my
that
question
city?
is on those.
What's going to happen to
my
the
question
people
is
that
on
tried
those
to burn
rioters
down-
who assaulted
Excuse me.
officers.
You have to
Would
ask,
you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You
If
would
they're
pardon
innocent-
those-
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system. How come the people that tried to burn down Minneapolis, how come the people that took over a large percentage of Seattle, how come nothing happened to them? How come the
But
people
sir, we're
that,
talking about
how
people
come
that
the
were
people-
seen
no,
beating
We're
officers
talking
with
about federal
flagpoles,
buildings.
dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that
Really?
video,
Oh,
sir?
really? Well, they
you would
shot-
pardon those. You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that. But people died in Seattle. Nobody died, but people died in
140
Minneapolis.
officers
You know,
were
people died in
assaulted that
Minneapolis.
day.
And nothing happens, and nobody ever talks, and nothing happens to those people. But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in, go in, go in. What about that? Look,
No one.
nothing is perfect in life, but you have people from Minneapolis, you have people just from 5 days ago in Washington, D.C. They were having fistfights and fighting with the police. They were spraying and destroying, they were desecrating our monuments in Washington, D.C. 5 days ago, and nothing happened to them. And you can't have two systems of justice. That's why they went after me as a political opponent, because they felt they couldn't win without doing that. And we're going to win our cases, or we're going to be vindicated. But I have to spend a lot of time on that and money. That's what they want. After the election, they won't care. Although in my case, I think they probably will, because the hatred is pretty deep. But I'll tell you, they went after me as a political opponent. That's never happened in our country before. And it sets a terrible, terrible precedent.
What do you do on day one if you win? What's your first thing?
What do? I close the border. And I do two things, because I can do a lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming in. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do? That, and I drill, baby, drill. I bring energy way down. I bring interest rates down. I bring inflation way down, so people can buy bacon again, so people can buy a ham sandwich again, so that people can go to a restaurant and afford it. Because right now, people can't buy food. Your grocery bills are up 40, 50, 60%, right? She's agreeing to me. Oh, she's agreeing. Thank you. I like you very much.
Mr. President, I think we are.
But it's true. Your grocery bills are up. And then they're mandating that you buy an all-electric car. You know, Elon Musk endorsed me, and he's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. But I'm against everybody having an electric car, okay? I'm very much against that. You have to be able to, if you want a hybrid or if you want a gasoline-propelled car. But, you know, we have more liquid gold, gasoline, oil, under our feet than any other country, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia, more than any other country. I want to use it. I want to use what we have. I want to bring down prices, bring down costs. And I also have to stop the invasion. And remember, they're taking your jobs. These people coming in are taking your jobs.
Project 2025.
I think we have to leave it there by the Trump team.
All right.
So we'll leave it. That is the last word. Thank you so much, Mr. Trump, for coming today and joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
They've been telling us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Great
Thank you,
honor.
Mr. President.
Man. Oh,
Isn't
man.
she lovely?
Man, oh, man, oh, man. People, no, do we just see what we saw, what we know what we saw? Y'all know exactly what you saw. Look at this is going to be a good 2-hour show. And in the process, do we have any bills that we need to be paid here. And shout out to my friend Mr. Womack, just got married recently. Understand that during the course of the show, if it for in case we had one of your advertisements, uh, let me see here. Let me start her. If in fact we had one of your advertisements, see. Whereas your business image will either be on the screen for 15 seconds or 30 seconds. And in the course of that 30 seconds, those that will view the show will see it. Now, that's a good thing for you. Building your business brand, right? Can be bow right there, right for you to see. Speaking of Trump, Trump TV. But this is an opportunity for you as a small business, you as an entrepreneur. This program is also brought to you by Milano's Suit Fashions. When you see me out like, suited, tux, tailored, Milano's, baby, that's where I suit up. And I know a lot of you suit up. A lot of the brothers, Nigerians, a lot of brothers from the continent shop at Milano's. I see them all the time because they like fashion. They like tight. They got, Now there's some other places that have nice suits, but they don't advertise with me. So it is what it is. Y'all have to figure that out on y'all's own. You feel me? Also, check out the radio station, PSN Radio, now playing at fingerstreetnews.com, and television, now playing right now. As a matter of fact, this program is brought to you by phoenixstreetnews.com, the Valley's news and entertainment directory that caters to bars, nightclubs, and other entertainment venues, providing digital advertising for small businesses. And now with radio and TV, more ways for you to advertise, promote, and market your business. Shout out to Jaguars over there on Black Canyon. You already know where it's at. 1902 North Black Canyon Highway. For sure. And Alaskan Bush Company. For sure. 2980 Grand Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona. Man, this has been some kind of a course of events. And I want a lot of you to pay attention to how this is going to shake out. Because Kamala, in her reply, in her response to Trumps. I mean, I just want to know which one you are. I don't care. I'll run against the Asian chick, or I mean, just let us know. Oh, you won't be worried about running against a black chick. She's the Jamaican Asian chick. She said, "Oh, well, now they're just splitting hairs." Oh, is that what it is? Is it just splitting hairs? No, the fact is that you've been lying. The question is why? Why did you feel the need to call yourself a black woman? Because they try to throw in there, oh, I went to Howard. I don't care what college you went to. That don't make you one of us. They not like us. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar, Pulitzer Prize winner. No wonder. And he didn't even know the impact that was going to have. And at this point, oh yeah, Kamala, you're going to have to lay it on out on the line. You are not black. Not like us. Person of color, oh, that's a them. That's a they. That's not a us. And at the end of the day, what are you going to do for us since you're not one of us? Like Obama. Obama was like, yeah, I don't see reparation working. No, because you're not one of us. And Kamala, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do anything for black people specifically. Oh, what you will, sister girl, if you think you're going anywhere near the White House as president. That's for sure. Ain't nobody playing with you either. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, y'all be easy breezy. Like and share, move it around. This is good content and stuff. And I think this one might be one for the TV. This one may, in fact, be one for the television. You may be able to get this show on the TV side and not have to worry about YouTube affecting how it goes down for sure. But until next time, this is the way we do it over here. Can we run out with some music? Let me see if I can find something appropriate for this exit. I think this right here might be just up over right here. This may say it all.
My dues.
Yikes.
I paid my dues. I paid my dues. I paid my dues.
G shit.
I paid my dues.
Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Nah. With that bullshit, y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Nah, I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know when I hit the dough, I ain't with that bullshit. Tryna sing along, leave that alone, got nothing to do with this. Feds on me, can't be walking with no cane. Just gave 13, now my brother missing. Damn. I cannot walk, so when I walk, I tie my shoes. Can't afford to be slipping. Why making moves, guys? Project living. I'm encoded with that thug shit. And it's obvious, I'm still blurring, raging for shower. Yikes, yeah, you know me. Didn't know he. All I need is Doki. Take out your knee. Niggas call the police. Headshot, then I leave. But they got 4 kids, man. That's how that is. Damn, you sensitive, like you care about his biz. This ain't no cakewalk, nigga.
You must like say slanging 8 balls, nigga. Sit your bitch ass down, stay a fuck around. Cause y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Nah. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Nah. I ain't with that bullshit.
One thing for sure, 2 things for certain. We not the same. Quit rapping now. Damn, you know shit done changed. Young nigga used to take off on the jump outs. Mama begging me change routes. That's why I hit them beats and spit pain now. Any nigga tell you Cree ain't good enough to make it. Point blank, that nigga hating. Fuck around, turn Satan. For everything been taken out of houses. Started rapping in the basement. Sleeping on my aunt couches. Selling dummy smokers in the fucking front bowing. I'm from the back of Easton. Who the fuck you doubting? I ain't never had shit. Bitch, I ain't the same. These niggas frontin' for with real niggas like Trey Game. Hell no, I don't gang bang. If you hit leaks, we on the same thing. Right here, you get caught. A motherfucker don't say names. I told my kids one day we gon' get up out this shit. I pray to God for all the good and the bad licks.
Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Nah. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Nah. I ain't with that bullshit.
Yikes, nigga. Trey Game, bitch. OG. Watch this shit, nigga. Got my little nigga Cree with me. Cree, what up? Got my little soldier, got there gone. Why, boy? Gallo in this motherfucker, ground zero. Got my little soldier CP in this motherfucker. Choke, what up? Out of 2 studios, nigga. Free little bro. Trey Game, bitch.
I paid my dues.
Yikes.
I paid my dues. I paid my dues. I paid my dues.
G shit.
Paid my dues.
Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Y'all niggas know, wanna hit the dough. I ain't with that bullshit. Nah.